Never come back here again, you broken, useless woman! If I see you around my house ever again, I'm calling the police on you! Then you can be taken away and turned into a proper adult in this society. Although I wish I could have done that to you this time, but then I would have had to explain that to my son!
No matter what you say, I think it's you who should have the police called on them. You just punched me in the face! What kind of person thinks it's okay to punch a younger woman in the face for no good reason?
What's wrong with me punching a supposed robber in the face and kicking them out of my house? I know what you were here for, and I'm not going to let your hidden intentions take hold of my family.
A robber? I am your son's fiancé, for crying out loud. Why would I ever want to rob my own dad's fiancé? Why would I want to rob anyone for that matter? I was just there to come and meet you, yet you stepped out of line the moment I came in and didn't even talk to me first about what you were suspecting.
Who cares at this point whether you're my son's fiancé or not? I don't even approve of you marrying him. Gosh, why did he have to end up with a woman like you? He has so much potential, and I've shown him so many other women that would fall for him in a heartbeat. All he has to do is just listen to me, and he'll have a much better woman that he can marry, who I know we can trust to be a good young wife for everyone.
What do you mean, why has he ended up with a woman like me? All I said was that I grew up with a single mother and that she was the only one who really raised me while I was going through school. I never did anything to you that would come off as rude or hostile, right? And I definitely wasn't robbing you of anything.
You bringing yourself and that past of yours into my house is very rude of you, actually. All right? My family is very famous, and we have a name to uphold in this city, in this state even. And seeing someone like you trying to sneak into my family is very recognizable. I've seen women like you before that try and get into rich and famous families with the purpose of leeching off them like a nasty parasite. And not just me, but so have a lot of my colleagues as well. And if they see me letting a roach like you into my house again, they'll begin to think differently of me, in a far worse way. I'm sure whoever the man was that impregnated your mom, he's lucky to have run away from you all. He probably knew at first glance that you and your mother were both going to end up as useless members of this great society.
Huh? So in other words, you're just judging me harshly for being from a single mother household and are using that as a reason to push me away? I have to say, you've made a situation that could very well put you behind bars, Dan. You could have done a lot better had you just expressed your concerns with me in the first place and let me explain myself a bit more to you so that you could understand who I am. But that probably wouldn't have made a difference anyway in the end.
The law doesn't care about what I've done to protect myself from a robber like you. Heck, if I had a weapon on me, I could have done you in and there would be no one against me because I had to protect my son and this house. And another thing, all you moneyless people are truly thieves. You only live to try and get into us rich people's lives and take what we've worked so hard for, right? Well, today our interaction has taught me a very good lesson. I'm gonna need to invest in better home security now that I see more rats like you on the horizon trying to dig their way into my money.
Man, I am actually amazed by you. You must be talented at taking in and regurgitating such garbage all the time. Today, you've really made yourself look like a textbook example of a greedy villain from some movie, and it's actually kind of hilarious.
A villain? I'm the hero of this world. It's because of people like me who've bled for the position they're in that you lowlifes and you moneyless people have the chance to even be able to live. You're the ones that get to have unemployment because you're too lazy and useless to get a job, and that all comes from the money I make. And you think after living off all that I've sacrificed for this world, you can come in and become part of my family now? Stop trying to make me laugh. This company of mine employs thousands of people that are below me, and if you wanted, I'd give you a job as well in the company. But I know you'd never be thankful for my kindness, so I'd rather you stay away from the greatness I offer this world.
I have a job right now, and it's working for someone that's a bit less egotistical than you. And me wanting to marry your son wasn't me trying to come into your family with any bad intentions, actually. I just wanted to marry your son, Sam, because I love him and he means the world to me.
That's the same thing. You marrying my son will make you a part of my family and give you access to all my things that I've worked hard for. Who do you think will allow you to do that? It won't be me, I promise you that. Sam has been in countless newspapers with articles all written about how amazing a young elite man he is. He's a star shining bright in this city of mine, and you have no right taking him off his pedestal with whatever emotions you have for him. If he's going to be swayed by love, it better be to a woman that I approve of. Someone that's a celebrity or comes from wealth.
But Sam wants to be married to me as well. He doesn't want to be with a celebrity or some stuck-up rich girl. We've already talked about all of this before, about the reason why he's choosing to be with me over all the countless other beautiful and wealthy women he could be with. And his reasoning was that someone like me didn't grow up in wealth or as someone that's a natural-born model, and that's what makes someone like me down to earth and special to him.
I don't care about what he thinks he wants. I'm his father, and not only his father, but his CEO as well. Everything I say to him, he must abide by, and that's because everything I say is correct. He has an image to uphold for this family, and that image cannot be tainted by someone that the rest of this world's high society doesn't deem important. Do you understand?
Really? You're that important and powerful of a man, then, that everything you say is right?
I am, but I'm sure a lowlife like you would never be able to understand my power. I do not approve of the marriage between my elite son and some lowlife who was only raised by her mother. If my punch to your face has helped you understand that, then get lost, you moneyless thief!
But my mom is the chairman of your company.
You're a lying pile of trash. Nice try, but you'll never be able to get me to say sorry to you.
All right, I understand. It seems that this man is not the kind of person I assumed he'd be when making him my CEO. For a while now, he's been doing a decent job at what he's been tasked with, but I never really knew him well enough to say that I'd seen something like this coming from him. That's what it seems, though, Mom. I was surprised by how badly he treated me. I have never even been treated that badly in my life, let alone been punched. I get that he's got a huge misunderstanding of my situation and everything, but for him to take it so far that he'd physically hit me, it's just mind-boggling to me. What has Sam been saying about this? I'm sure after what he had to witness, he's in a pretty tough spot with his dad. For the longest time now, he's struggled in dealing with his dad, actually. Ever since he was born, his dad made it very clear that Ben couldn't have a life of his own, and that he was the only one who could make choices for him. That's why originally I was going to introduce myself and ask his dad to allow me to marry his son. I tried my best to sell to him that I would be a great wife to his son and him when I married into the family. But I think me saying that I've only been raised by you led him to believe there's something wrong with me. And he is not the man that'll allow anyone with a perceived imperfection to be with his perfect and elite son. So much for that now. I regret that I ever brought anything about myself up to him. If he was going to be that upset about it, I should have just lied to him to get his approval, and then after the marriage took Ben as far away as I could get him. I'm sure that Sam's pretty upset by this as well. I myself never saw Dan as being that sort of hideous man. This is my fault for letting him think he could get away with such a thing. Maybe the position of CEO is too much for him, and he thinks that in that position he's something better than everyone else and above the law, which really scares me. But him becoming a CEO does kind of make him a big deal, right? I mean, he's in charge of a lot of your company now, and without someone in that position, you'd have a very hard time keeping your company under control. So there's no helping him from being corrupted by the power and name he has now. He must have done something for the company that made you trust him, and that means it's fine letting me stay in that position. However, it would be nice for him to go to 1 or 2 ethics classes in the near future. No matter how good he is at doing his job, if he has a terrible personality, then he's not worth being in the company. If this is how he's acted out towards you, then I'm sure a lot of the employees within the company have felt that same kind of wrath. I'm going to start a very thorough investigation into him and have him fired at the end of it. I want to know what others in the company think of him, and I want to see what else he's done that I'd never guessed he'd do. That way I'll have all the evidence stacked against him, just in case he thinks he can try and fight me in this company on my decision. And also, punching my own daughter like that, I cannot allow that sort of behavior. I bet he'd never done something like that if I came along with you to meet him. Can you make sure to take pictures of your face and everything that's bruised up or swollen so that we can use the pictures later as even more evidence? I want to make sure we have everything covered before taking care of that gross pile of garbage. I'm fine though, Mom. He actually sucks at throwing punches, and so that last one was like taking a pillow to the face. I get that you need to do something about him, and I do want you to make sure that he pays for his way of thinking. But above the physical pain that I feel right now, having to see Ben as sad as he is right now is heartbreaking to me. He was the one that brought me along to meet his dad, and now he feels some sort of responsibility for what's happened. I've told him he doesn't need to feel sorry, but every time he sees my black eye, he starts to cry a lot. You have a black eye now, too? Make sure that you start putting ice around it to help it all go away soon. And as for you and Sam, I think you need to go and have a long talk about this with him and explain that he really doesn't have to feel any sort of responsibility for what happened. I'm sure not even he thought his father could stoop as low as he did, and I'll make sure not to step into your guys' discussion. You're old enough now and at that point in life where you need to be there for him and comfort him when he's at his weakest. I'm sure what would really make him happy is talking all this through after he's done crying. Yeah, all right. I'll do that. Just know that I myself feel sorry for never noticing the true man that's been Dan. So don't worry about him anymore. I'll take care of him for you, and I'll make sure he gets to see all the damage he's caused by acting like an entitled child. Just focus on your soon-to-be husband. I totally understand now why Sam has hated his dad so much. The only thing is, no matter what his dad does to him, he always seems to want to stay by his dad's side. I really don't want him to think that he has to be tethered to his dad anymore, or that he can leave whenever he wants because he's an adult. Ben, he still wants to get married to you, even right now? Of course. No matter what anyone has to say about us, we know that we'll be at our happiest when we get married. For example, even if you were against us, we'd still get married. I know you never would be, but if you were, I'd go as far as cutting ties to you in order to marry Ben. That's how much I love him, Mom. Well, that kind of stubbornness is just like me, Kylie. I think so. So no matter what that idiot Dan says to me, we'll be fine. Actually, it's kind of fun being picked on him. Dan really does try to go all out, making me seem like some kind of monster at times, but he ends up sounding like a gosh darn fool in doing so. Even if it's fun now, just make sure to take care of yourself around him. That sort of mental and physical harassment that he's trying to do to you, you can only bear it for so long, so we need to make sure to handle it before you run out of strength. I'm worried about you, but I know you can handle yourself. I'll be fine, Mom. I'm just like you, right? Making me pretty dang strong. You've always been on your own, and I've learned a lot from you being a strong single mother that raised me. And so, because of what you've taught me, I'm not going to lose to some pussy of a man. I'm sorry. I'm sure that I put you through a lot of tough experiences when you were younger. Also, I bet there were plenty of times growing up that you felt that you were all alone in this world. There were times where I was lonely, but I'm still happy that I have you as my mom. You're so kind yet strong, and for the longest time now, I've wanted to become someone like you. You really are a mother that I can brag about, Mom. Sam grew up with a mother and father and always had someone around him, but I feel that he's even lonelier now than I was back then. Thank you, Isabel. I'm happy to hear that, and I hope that soon we can help Sam escape that monster for good. We will, and you don't have to thank me. Me being able to say all these nice things about you is what makes me such a cool daughter, right? Saying something that can make you that happy without even having to think about it. I'm actually really happy to have you as my daughter, though. I honestly don't know what to say sometimes that'll show you how fortunate I am to have you. Don't worry about it. I'm sorry if I made you feel as though you had to praise me. I know that you're happy to have me, and I feel the same way about having you. Thank you always, Mom. No, thank you always, Kylie. When this is all over, how about we all take some time off? Sam, yourself, and I, and go somewhere relaxing for a little while. Oh, that would be wonderful, Mom. Dan, I have something I'd like to talk about for a moment. Is that okay with you?
Well, if it isn't the chairman! What's been going on? You know that any time you need to talk, you can come stop by my office and chat. But anyway, has something happened?
Yes, something has happened. Dan, do you recall anything?
Recall anything? Nah, the company's been doing very well lately, so nothing outside the ordinary has happened here. You should be quite aware that our company is doing much better, as a matter of fact, with me in charge.
Is that so? Well, has anything happened outside the company?
No, I've been having a splendid life outside my work that I'm very proud of. But to be honest, I consider anything outside my life in the office my second shift of work, as I'm always on the clock.
A splendid life. I see. So then you'd consider that your splendid life would also involve punching women in the face?
Huh? What the hell are you talking about?
Seems you did quite the number on my daughter.
What? Wait. I'm sorry. I'm not really sure what you're talking about at this moment.
My daughter, Kylie. She happened to stop by your house to introduce herself and talk to you about how she'd be marrying your son. But I've been told by her that things didn't go anywhere close to plan, and that you did something rather unthinkable. I've also made sure to talk with your son about this, so please do not say that you've forgotten about this.
That's... What can I say?
Tell me right now, Dan, what did you end up doing to my daughter?
You're wrong! What happened was, well, she was talking back to me very rudely, and but saying that I punched her in the face is not true. I'm sure all I did was just tap her on the shoulder or something for that.
If someone were to punch you in the face, would you allow that?
I'm being serious right now. I'm sure that all of this could have been avoided in some manner, but saying I've punched her?
Well then, what's this recording that I have?
Huh? No, that's...
This is the recording that Kylie took when she was around you, and you can hear very clearly the sound of your fist hitting her cheekbone and then her falling to the ground. And I have your son as a witness to all of this happening to her. So what the hell did you plan to do after this all went down?
You have my son as a witness? What has Sam even told you about this?
He told me that his dad had punched Kylie in the face. And he then followed that by saying that it's his fault this all happened and that he's sorry. Are you not embarrassed as a father to have your son be the one to apologize for your necessary actions?
That backstabbing idiot! Well, what he's told you is all false. I'm sure that she may have fallen over when I ran into her, but I never actually punched her in the face.
You told me just a second ago it was only a tap on her shoulder.
It's because of my son saying a bunch of BS to you that everything spun out of control for a second. To be real with you, if I'd known that she was your daughter...
So you're saying that if she wasn't my daughter, it'd be acceptable to physically assault her like that? Punching her in the face and giving her a black eye?
That's not what I meant by that, actually, but I do approve of them both getting married now. I mean, I have the right to choose who's gonna marry my son, since he's the one that'll be getting my position next, right?
Stop trying to change the issue here. You said some very inappropriate things to your son's fiancée and then proceeded to punch her in the face. I know that for a fact. So let us continue talking about that.
Well, this is all... You've got it all wrong. Really, I think I've been set up.
I never imagined you were this pathetic of a man. As of today, you are no longer going to be the CEO anymore.
Huh?
Get all your things together and then get out of this building.
Hold on for a second. This is all strange, right? Do you not know how much I've sacrificed for the sake of this company already?
And you're the one that chose to sacrifice all of that yourself. Now be a man and accept your fate.
But...
I have made my choice with you and it will not be changed. You should also understand that kind of mentality well enough, right, Dan?
I understand. I'll allow it. I did in fact punch Isabel in the face by accident. And as for my son, well, I'm really very sorry for what's all happened.
You think I'm going to forgive you because you allow my daughter to marry your son?
Well, then what should I do to get you to forgive me? Shall I come to you and get on my hands and knees and beg? Will that be enough to make you happy?
Well, if you happen to do that for me, you might get a better understanding of the kind of trash you really are. Well, it doesn't matter now. I don't want to see you ever again, Dan.
Please, hold on, Chairman. Can you please listen to my side of the story? Hey, can you please do something about this? I never actually knew you were the daughter of the chairman.
What are you talking about?
I'm asking you to make the chairman understand my side of things. I never meant any harm back then. I was just thinking a bit too much about Ben and, well, just for right now, get your mom to understand me.
Understand you? My mom understands you and your intentions clear as day.
Right now, she believes for some reason that I actually punched you back then. You're just talking out of your butt saying that.
I'm not. You punched me in the face, and so I told my mom about it. Well, that's all right, though. I have that recording of what had happened, so stop trying to change the past and just prepare yourself.
Huh?
I'm taking you to court, Dan, and I've already made a victim's report of what you've done to me. And I believe the police will begin to investigate the case here soon.
Wait a minute, that's going way too far. I'm trying to keep all of this within the family.
No matter what you try and say to me, I am taking you to court. That's the whole reason I recorded us in the first place.
Then that means you're fine with never getting to see my son again, right?
Excuse me? Why would that happen after taking you to court?
Did you hear me? He is my son and he's my property. I plan to have him become the next CEO of this company. So if you're going to take me to court, then you'd better give me my things back.
Well, Sam has said that he's never going to see you again.
No freaking way. That man respects me more than anyone else in this world. All you've been trying to do is brainwash my son.
Weren't you the one brainwashing him this whole dang time? You used your authority as his dad to take complete control of his life, never let him make his own choices. Perhaps it's time you start thinking about how he feels before you go and take everything that means anything to him away.
Shut the hell up! What does a fatherless baby like you know about what a father should be like?
Me having only my mother around to raise me has nothing to do with this. I was the least able to be loved by my mom while she was still around caring for me at home. And she's taught me a lot, and still does.
And I've done the same. I've given him all the love he needs, and that's why he's an elite. I made sure to raise him the way I did so that he could be happy and powerful. And we all know that being an elite is the only way to be happy in this world.
Well, Sam's happiness is achieved by him being around people that love him and allow him to live a simple and calm life. And he's grown to hate you using the words elite and loser in the house. He's literally saying that he's happier anywhere besides being near you now.
What? Is that right?
I'm sure you would have never known that, right? And the reason for that is simple. You never loved Ben. Rather, you just saw him as a piece of property that you could use to make yourself look better as a man.
What the hell do you know?
Right? Of course I don't know crap about someone like you. The only thing I do know, though, is that compared to my mom, you are like a plague.
You're nothing more than a mother's girl.
saying it just like you're still in middle school. Stop it, Dan. You really are not in the position to fight back anymore.
For Christ's sake, you're nothing! Hey, please, can you come back to me? I'll promise to never step out of line again.
Dan, do you think you can stop trying to talk to me? At this point, you and I are complete strangers.
Please! All of my family has cut ties to me, and my wife got up and left me here all alone. And as for work, I haven't been able to find any company willing to hire me.
And that's what you get. That life you're living now suits you perfectly.
Well, I've thought about it and learned from everything now. Give me just one last chance, please. I really want to see Sam again.
All right, then. I'm sure you're just trying to get money from us now that you can't borrow anymore, right?
Huh?
I already know, Dan. For the past few months, you felt sorry for yourself and have proceeded to go out late at night to play on the streets. And the story about you spending $200,000 in a single night is really buzzing on social media. You even pay people to call you CEO still because that's the only thing making you happy, right?
Yeah, you even know about that?
Dan, you have nothing to offer me or my family. All you do is push others down so that you can continue to hang on to your pride, even going as far as to ruin other people's happiness. And now that you're in a time of desperation, you're trying to get any kind of help there is, but only as long as you still feel on top. But you are a disgrace, and nobody wants you around them anymore.
What the?
As a parent, as a husband, and even as a member of society, you are a disgrace who will never be wanted. And I do not want myself or those that I care about being around you.
I have really thought about everything that's happened and learned my lesson. Do you really think it's okay to say such heartless things like that to someone who's already been through enough?
You've been through enough? Well, if you've really gone through enough to learn from your mistakes, then where's my apology?
Huh?
You said terrible things about me as well as assaulted me, yet I've not heard a single apology from you.
I feel I've apologized already for that.
No, you made a poor attempt to apologize to my mom about that, but still haven't said anything to me. I always thought that those who have really gone and learned their lessons start by apologizing for what they've done. Well, it doesn't matter much now. I'd love for you to continue living in that world you call hell.
What about Sam? What's happened with him? I want to talk to my son now.
You've read that letter from him by now, right? What did he say in that letter?
He said the next time I come around you guys, he'll make me pay.
I'm sure that's hard for you to understand, but what he means is for you to stay away. So please respect his wants and leave us alone. I know that you've never been good at respecting him, but your life depends on it this time. So make this the last thing you can be good for and stay the hell away.
Why? I think it'd be okay for you guys to at least forgive me a little. Right now, I'm super close to even losing my own house and having to live on the streets.
No matter what you say to me, I've made my choice and it will not be changed. I'm like my mom, Dan, a stubborn woman. After that incident, I made the difficult decision to block Dan's phone number, and since that day, I have not heard from him again. It felt like a necessary step, a way to reclaim my peace of mind after everything that had transpired. His situation was tragic, and yet in some way it served as a harsh reminder of the consequences that come from living a life filled with deceit and poor choices. In Dan's case, he was drowning in an overwhelming sea of debt, which ultimately led him to lose his house to the bank. The weight of his financial burdens crushed him, leaving him with nowhere to turn. When Dan found himself begging for help, he discovered that there wasn't a soul around willing to lend him a hand. His once vibrant social circle had dissipated, leaving him isolated and alone. He lost all connections to his family and his wife. overwhelmed by the chaos of their life together, divorced him and ran away. The emotional toll this took on him must have been immense, a painful realization that his choices had not only impacted his life, but also the lives of those he once loved and cherished. To add to his struggles, he lost his prestigious job as the CEO of a well-respected company. The sudden fall from grace left him feeling lost and without direction. Now he found it incredibly challenging to secure any work, except for part-time gigs that barely paid the bills. This descent into despair must have felt like a cruel joke. He had once been at the top of his game, and now he was fighting to make ends meet, clinging to a semblance of dignity as he navigated his new reality. With all that pressure weighing heavily on his already fragile soul, Dan made the decision to run. He ran far from the city we had all inhabited, seeking solace in places unknown. There are whispers and rumors about his whereabouts. Some say he borrowed money from loan sharks and that when he failed to pay them back in time, they abducted him. These rumors, though chilling, reflect the desperation of a man backed into a corner. It's haunting to think about what could have happened to him, and regardless of the truth behind his disappearance, part of me is genuinely curious. A man like Dan with his fragile pride must be in shambles, battling demons that few can understand. As for me, I've experienced a remarkable transformation in my own life. With the weight of the past lifted, I was able to buy a brand new house, a fresh start that felt like a long-awaited dream come true. Both Sam and I have been living there, embarking on this exciting new chapter together. This new home symbolizes hope, resilience, and the possibility of a brighter future, one that stands in stark contrast to the dark days of our past. In Sam's case, he embraced a new role as the CEO, taking over from his father with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. The transition was not easy, but with the support of my mom, he has managed to navigate the challenges that come with such responsibility. The company is on a trajectory towards success, and this coming year looks outstanding compared to the disarray of the past when his dad was running things. It's refreshing to witness the changes Sam has implemented, steering the company in a positive direction and bringing fresh ideas to the table. Sam has also worked hard to forget the painful memories associated with his father. The burden of resentment that had weighed him down for so long has begun to lift. It's a relief to see that he doesn't harbor as much spite towards his dad anymore. Time and distance have allowed him to heal, and as he focuses on his new role, he's rediscovering his own identity separate from his father's shadow. This transformation is not only crucial for Sam, but also for our relationship, as it strengthened our bond and created an environment where we can both thrive. Being by Sam's side during this transformative journey fills me with joy. He's happier than I've seen him in a long time. Knowing that he no longer has to struggle with the legacy of his father's mistakes brings me even greater happiness. The sense of freedom that comes with breaking away from the past burden is palpable in our lives. It's not just about career success, it's about reclaiming one's happiness and forging a path that reflects our true selves, unencumbered by the past. Together, we are building a life filled with promise and potential. The struggles we faced in the past have formed a bond between us that feels unbreakable. As we settle into our new home, we find comfort in our routines and excitement in our shared goals. We often discuss our dreams for the future, the adventures we want to embark on, and the life we want to create together. This sense of shared purpose fuels our determination to succeed, and it reassures us that we are on the right path. I feel a sense of gratitude for the lessons learned along the way, even if they came wrapped in painful experiences. Each challenge has brought us closer together, and as we navigate this new chapter, I'm reminded of the resilience we possess. Our love has grown stronger, providing a foundation that supports us as we face whatever life throws our way. It's incredible to witness how we can lean on each other, sharing the weight of our individual burdens while also celebrating our collective victories. In this new house, we fill our days with laughter, creating memories that will last a lifetime. We explore our neighborhood, meet new friends, and immerse ourselves in the community around us. There's something invigorating about starting fresh and embracing the unknown with someone who shares your vision for the future. Each day is a new opportunity to build our lives together, and we approach every moment with enthusiasm and hope. While Dan's fate remains uncertain and shrouded in mystery, I choose to focus on the present. I have the love and support of Sam, and together we are building a life that reflects our hopes and dreams. It's a beautiful journey, one that reminds me of the strength found in resilience and the power of love to heal even the deepest wounds. We are learning to navigate life's challenges with grace and determination, standing firm in the belief that we can overcome anything together. In the end, it's not just about leaving the past behind. It's about embracing the future with open arms and a heart full of hope. I know that whatever challenges may arise, Sam and I will face them together, hand in hand, ready to create a life filled with love, joy, and endless possibilities. Our story is still being written, and I can't wait to see what the next chapters hold for us. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story. I'm finally getting married! I'm counting on you for a wedding gift, so make sure it's something good, okay? Wait, you're getting married? Oh, congratulations, but what do you mean by that exactly? Does that mean you'll be coming to introduce him to us soon? It's important to meet him, right? It feels like maybe the order of things is a little off here. Huh? An introduction? I don't see why that's necessary. I mean, we're not exactly the most traditional family, right? Why start being all uptight now? What's with this sudden need to follow etiquette and all that? Just because I'm getting married now, you think you can act like some strict parent? When did you become such a fan of proper manners? It's honestly kind of annoying. It's not about when. That's not really the point here, Angelica. Marriage isn't just about the two of you as individuals. It's about bringing together two families, creating a bond that has a meaning beyond just the two people in it. These things matter, and they should be handled properly. If you don't, there could be misunderstandings or issues. You'll need to meet each other's families, and once both sides give their approval, it's respectful to have a formal introduction for everyone's peace of mind, don't you think? You're kidding, right? That's such an outdated way of thinking. Not every family does things that way anymore. Besides, our family's never been one of those super strict traditional types, right? We don't have to start now. Wait a minute. Have you even asked what his parents think about all this? A marriage isn't something you and he can decide on alone, Angelica. If you don't handle this properly, it could inconvenience his family as well. And wouldn't they want to know about the family their son is marrying into? Not taking these steps could cause unnecessary concern for them. Seriously? I didn't ask for your opinion. Why are you trying to act like you have a say in this? If anything, you being there with your crutches would probably make things even more awkward for them, don't you think? They'd feel obligated to cater to you out of politeness, and it'd just be a hassle. But I'd be able to explain to them that my condition doesn't require anyone to go out of their way for me. I've learned how to manage perfectly well, and there's no need for you to worry about it either. Besides, using my crutches doesn't have any impact on your marriage, Angelica. That's something entirely separate from your relationship. But none of this is about you. Frankly, your involvement in my marriage is unnecessary. The only reason I'm even telling you about this wedding is because I expect you to contribute financially. I mean, I'm your only daughter, right? And let's be honest, you both only have, maybe 40 years left at most? So really, there's no reason for you not to put some money toward my wedding if it makes me happy, is there? Why do you have to talk to us this way? Angelica, with this kind of attitude, it's surprising you even managed to find someone to marry. Of course I found someone. Anyway, I'm just telling you now, don't think you'll have any say in my wedding plans, okay? And don't think you can interfere in my life once I'm married either. My fiancé isn't anything like Dad. He's not the type to just laugh things off. He's serious, dependable, and capable. I've decided he's the one I can trust with my future. Unlike my dad, who's always laughing, never serious, and can't even take care of things himself. It's honestly pathetic how easy it's been to manipulate him all these years. That's really unkind to say about your father, Angelica. Why should I care? He may have had money, but that was the only thing that mattered to me. Now that I'm getting married, my fiancé will be the one supporting me financially. So honestly, I won't need anything from you two anymore. Paying for the wedding can be your last act of parenting, the last thing you do for your daughter. Go all out with it. Don't hold back. Once I'm married, think of it as severing ties. It'll make things easier for everyone. So, you've seen us as nothing but a nuisance all this time? Wow, it took you long enough to notice. Dad's always been my puppet, doing whatever I wanted, and you're just this nagging figure pretending to be a parent when it suits you. I've been wanting to cut ties for ages, but up until now I couldn't because of the money you were sending me every month. Once I'm married, though, I won't have any need to rely on you two for anything. Isn't that a relief for you? No more monthly allowance going to a daughter who's finally leaving to start her own life. So just think of this wedding expense as some kind of severance payment, if that helps. We always thought that as our only daughter, you were someone precious to us, that raising you with care was something meaningful. But I guess that's just how we felt, wasn't it? Thanks for your effort, I guess. But honestly, if you wanted to be proper parents, you should have done a better job from the start. You could have at least tried to have some authority or dignity instead of just letting me do whatever I wanted. I see. Hey, are you kidding me? There's only $10,000 in the transfer. You must have made a mistake with the digits, right? $10,000 only? Well, it's meant to be some financial support for the wedding, so no, I don't think there's a mistake. What? Do you remember I'm your only daughter, right? No brothers or sisters to split the attention or money with. Yes, of course I remember that. You're our only daughter. Oh, come on. Are you actually serious? Only $10,000 for your one and only daughter's wedding? If you were a decent mother, you'd pay the whole thing. Otherwise, I might just leave you off the guest list. Come on, think about it. Even someone like you, who can't walk without crutches, ought to be able to figure out that the least you could do for your only daughter is to cover the wedding. Otherwise, what's the point of even being alive? You're just a burden on society who doesn't even do any housework, always relying on Dad to take care of everything. Pathetic.
Watch your mouth, young lady. You're getting too cocky. You know what? Fine. Consider this the last of anything you're getting from us. I'll make sure this is our final parting gift. Since you're apparently too good to even introduce us to your future husband or invite us to the wedding, why do you think you deserve any money from us? You're not getting a single cent more.
What? Hold on. Hey, old woman, what do you think you're doing? Don't get so full of yourself. You think I'll just accept not a single cent more, do you? Are you even listening to yourself? That wasn't me. It was your father. What? You're actually telling me Dad said that? That the dad who's got this dopey, timid expression and no backbone actually said something like that? Please, Mom, I don't know what game you're playing, but there's no way he would say that. I'm telling the truth. Even I was shocked when I saw how furious he was. You're serious? That guy really said that, acting like he's finally grown a spine? Hilarious. Anyway, whatever, but just pay the full amount already. Oh, really? Didn't you say you wanted to cut ties with us after getting married? Isn't it strange to be expecting financial help for a wedding if you're trying to end the relationship? Your father's outburst made me realize something, too. What are you going on about now? I'm your only daughter, right? Don't most parents feel obligated to pay for their only daughter's wedding? You're getting married and planning to be supported by your husband, aren't you? In that case, it makes no sense for us to still be financially involved. Why not rely on your fiancé instead of us? Since you're planning to cut ties, we have no reason to give you any more money. In fact, looking back, I realize we spoiled you far too much already. Huh? Don't even think you can decide something like this on your own. I'm about to get married, and what, you're just going to act like your money is more important than your daughter? You two are old now. How much longer do you think you'll even need that money? I wouldn't say that. You see, we never got to live for ourselves. Since you were born, your father and I put everything into raising you. We didn't get to enjoy much of life ourselves. Do you remember how you were so sickly when you were younger? We spent countless hours taking you to and from hospitals, and it was exhausting and expensive. Right, because you couldn't even raise me to be healthy, could you? All my memories from childhood are of being in and out of hospitals. Now I'm grown up and I'm still struggling to fit in socially. You two are lousy parents who couldn't even raise a healthy kid, so at this point the least you can do is make it up to me financially. We knew you struggled, which is why we've continued to send you money every month. When you said you wanted to move out, we understood it was a chance for you to finally have freedom and happiness. Even though it meant sending you a considerable allowance for a luxury apartment in the city, we agreed and supported you. We never even complained about the cost, but then you go out and find someone to marry without even introducing us. You treated us as a resource, nothing more, and that hasn't sat well with either of us. So this time we're taking a stand. Consider us retired from being your parents. We're done here.
Oh, please, don't make yourselves out to be the victims. It's my wedding day. What kind of parent would not cover their only daughter's wedding, especially when it's the one day that's supposed to be all about me? And here you are, pretending to be these poor, burdened parents. Give me a break.
Actually, there was more to the 10,000.
What?
We planned to give you a house as a wedding present. A house where you could live comfortably and raise your own family, knowing they might need some extra care if they inherited any health issues. It was going to be my way of providing the support I couldn't provide when you were younger.
Wait, are you serious? That's why you were only sending 10,000 for the wedding?
Yes, I remember how much you dreamed of having a spacious house as a child. When you were younger, you couldn't even run around like other kids, and we had to live in a tiny apartment because of all the medical expenses. I thought it would be a way to give you the life you always wanted. I always regretted that I couldn't bring you into the world healthy. Your father has always felt conflicted about how much we sacrificed, but we did everything with you in mind. And now, hearing all this from you, it's clear we've reached a point where we have to let go.
What? You think a house makes up for all I had to go through as a kid? My childhood's gone and nothing can bring that back. But fine, if you're giving me a house, I'll let it go. I'll stop being so critical. Happy?
Do you realize now? I can see now more clearly than ever how toxic this relationship has become. Your father's outburst, it was like a revelation. This is where we draw the line.
Don't just act like you're over it. So where's the house? What's the plan for it? I want in on the planning.
There is no house. We're canceling it all.
What? You can't be serious. I already told my fiancé that you're covering the whole wedding. I told him it's only fair because from now on, he'll be the one taking care of me. And now you're telling me this? No way. I refuse to accept it.
You're reaping what you've sown. You made these plans without consulting us, and now you'll need to find your own way to make them happen. We don't owe you anything more than we've already given.
I'm the victim here. Isn't it a parent's duty to support their child? How can you just decide you're done supporting me?
You're the one who declared your independence. Now it's up to you to take responsibility for the life you wanted.
Hey, about yesterday, I got really heated, and I'm sorry for that. Now that I've cooled down a bit, I realize how out of control I was. It's honestly a little embarrassing.
It was the first time I've seen you get so emotional, you know? But I felt a bit happy, too. It felt like you were angry on my behalf.
Well, thinking about it, we've held ourselves back for so long and sacrificed so much for Angelica. But it's finally hit me. We've just been getting used and exploited over and over, and no matter how much we put in, it was never enough. It's clear we were never going to be appreciated. She's a grown woman now, healthy, and going about her life just as she pleases. She keeps bringing up her health issues from when she was younger, as if that justifies all her behavior now. To be honest, I feel like I can't keep putting up with it.
I never knew that's how you really felt. For so long I kept telling myself that it was my fault she wasn't born healthy. I thought if I can make up for it, then maybe I can atone for my failure as a parent. I let her get away with so much because of that guilt.
But she's of marriageable age now, and we've overindulged her far too much. She has no grasp of reality because of it. And then when something as monumental as her wedding comes up, she acts as if we're just her personal ATM. She doesn't respect us as parents or as individuals. I think it's time we stop spoiling her. We did our best. There's nothing left for us to feel guilty about.
Yes, you're right.
And it still eats at me to this day. The way she held on to her resentment about not being able to play with other children when she was younger. She actually went so far as to take out her anger on you by shoving you down those stairs, and the result was that you broke your leg. Now, even today, you rely on crutches to get around, and yet she sees this as something that was deserved, or something that you owe her. The way she mocked you, saying that since you couldn't even bring a healthy child into this world, you deserve to suffer too. I still can't forget that moment. Watching her treat you like that after all we'd been through together, it was like a slap in the face.
Her words, if you couldn't even bear a healthy daughter, then you deserve to know what it's like to live with a disability. I can still hear them in my head. I was exhausted physically and mentally back then, but I convinced myself that if I just kept making it up to her, then maybe, just maybe, she'd eventually forgive me. I really thought it was possible.
I've stood by, watching her treat you like that, feeling like I had to let it go. I used to think one day she'll grow up, move out, and finally find peace, maybe even come back to us with a sense of understanding. When she has her own kids, she'll see what we went through, and, with any luck, grow to appreciate the sacrifices we made. I thought that was how it would go, but now I realize we don't have to cling to that hope anymore. We don't have to keep hurting ourselves waiting for something that may never happen.
I think we both let our pity for her as a child blind us to how she was manipulating us. We sacrificed so much for her, thinking it was what she needed. But maybe, in a way, that's what turned her into the person she is today.
I'm not saying I want her to thank us. I can only imagine how hard it must have been to have a childhood filled with health problems. But to take that and turn it into a weapon against us, as if we purposely neglected her or failed her, I can't accept that anymore. She thinks our lives exist solely for her to do with as she pleases. But I won't let her treat us like this anymore.
Yes, I agree. I feel like I'm finally seeing clearly for the first time. She's healthy now, and she's the one who told us she didn't need us anymore. She made it very clear that we were obsolete to her, so why do we need to keep supporting her?
You know, when she hurt you, I should have stood up for you back then. I'm sorry for not doing more. You always told me that I was a kind man, easygoing, but maybe I was just passive, like Angelica said. I was probably just smiling my way through everything instead of facing the hard truth.
I know you were in a difficult position, caught between her and me. You wanted to consider her feelings while still supporting me. I know that must have been hard for you, so let's put the past behind us. Thinking about what happened back then doesn't change my injury, so there's no point in dwelling on it now.
Yes, you're right. Maybe from now on, we can live our lives without feeling like everything has to revolve around Angelica. Maybe we can finally start focusing on ourselves.
Yes, I think that could be wonderful. Living just for us. If we can actually do that, it would feel like a dream come true.
Hey, where the hell are you, old lady? Where did you disappear to? I'm at the family home right now, and you're nowhere to be found. So where did you go?
Oh, I see. Well, we don't live there anymore.
What? What do you mean? Why not? Where did you move to then?
Overseas.
Huh? What do you mean overseas? What's going on all of a sudden?
The money we'd saved up to buy you a home for when you got married. Since you told us you no longer needed our support, we used it to fund our move abroad. It no longer had a purpose tied to you, so we put it toward a fresh start for ourselves.
What? How dare you just do whatever you feel like with it? I came all the way to the family home just to talk about that, and you're just gone?
Well, you don't have a family home here anymore. You're the one who said you wanted to cut ties, remember? You told us that after you got married, we'd be unnecessary to you, and you didn't want us in your life. So we're simply moving forward and enjoying life without you in it. That's all there is to it.
That's all there is to it? How can you just say it so easily? Because you started whining about not paying for my wedding, my fiancé got suspicious, checked my messages, and, well, now he's found out about our bad relationship. He's talking about calling off the wedding.
Wait, so you were hiding our whole situation from him?
I told him you weren't able to meet because of your injured leg, but that you were at least willing to pay for the wedding. That's the story I went with. Now, I don't have the money and I can't make up any more excuses. This is my final plea. Please, just help me out this once. If you don't, I'm seriously going to end up alone. I might not be able to get married at all if you don't come through.
That's unfortunate, but it sounds like it just wasn't meant to be. You're healthy now. You can go find someone who's truly committed to being with you. Someone who won't get cold feet over family matters.
Hold on, I could fix this with the money. Don't you see that? So please help me out, just this one time.
We're done being at your beck and call. You know, words are something you can't take back once you've said them. You keep pointing out how hard it was being unwell as a child, but you don't understand that the things you've said to us, especially to me, have left wounds that won't heal. And then there's my leg, which was injured because of you. That will never heal either.
But it's not like I didn't suffer too. My childhood was full of hardships. Why can't you just help me this once? Doesn't a parent have a responsibility to support their child?
When you think of yourself as the only one who's suffered, eventually you'll find yourself in a place where no one is willing to help you. Life doesn't work the way you think it does. You need to understand this now. It's time you grew up and learned how to face the consequences of your own choices.
What? So that's it? You're just washing your hands of me just like that? After everything you put me through, too? After all, it's not my fault that I wasn't healthy as a kid, and you're just going to abandon me now?
Your perspective is exactly why this is happening. Instead of blaming everyone else, try to show some accountability. Grow up for your own sake. Angelica approached us with a contrite look on her face, her palms open as a gesture that screamed apology. It was a sight that once might have tugged at our hearts, but now it was met with an unwavering resolve. We had made it abundantly clear that we could no longer lend an ear to the tales spun by our selfish daughter, tales that seemed to have a single narrative thread woven with manipulation, entitlement, and blatant disregard for the consequences of her actions. We felt as though a boundary had been crossed, one that was not merely a line in the sand, but a deep chasm that we could not overlook. Looking back, it was evident that the engagement conversation had been clouded with an array of concerns from the very start. It was not just a simple agreement between two families, it had morphed into a complex web of issues that weighed heavily on our hearts. The whispers we had heard, concerns about Angelica's behavior and choices, had grown into a cacophony of alarm bells that we could no longer ignore. We had been willing to support her, to give her the benefit of the doubt, but the evidence was overwhelming. The engagement, which should have been a joyous occasion, was instead fraught with complications that seemed insurmountable. As the situation unfolded, one particular incident came to light, illuminating the extent of her selfishness and poor decision-making. It was a shocking revelation that changed everything for us. Once we learned of this betrayal, the discussions about the engagement came to a sudden and jarring halt. The air was thick with tension, and it felt as though the ground beneath us had shifted. We were left grappling with reality that was painful to accept. Angelica had crossed a line, and the trust that had once bound us was now shattered. In the wake of this tumultuous episode, Angelica found herself in an unexpectedly precarious situation. The financial support that we, her parents, had once provided, support that she had taken for granted, was abruptly cut off. It was a harsh wake-up call for her, one that she had seemingly never anticipated. The vibrant city she had chosen to inhabit, with its dazzling lights and the allure of independence, had now transformed into a battleground of financial struggles. It was a stark contrast to the life she had known, one filled with comfort and security, and it was evident that she was woefully unprepared for the challenges ahead. We had always warned her about the realities of urban living, especially in a city notorious for its high cost of living. It is a place where dreams can quickly turn into nightmares if one is not adequately prepared to face its demands. Yet she had brushed off our concerns as if they were mere obstacles in her path to independence. Now, however, the consequences of her decisions were coming home to roost, and the weight of that realization was beginning to dawn on her. Without our financial backing, Angelica faced the daunting task of paying rent in an expensive city. She had chosen her apartment with enthusiasm, viewing it as a stepping stone to independence. However, that apartment, once a symbol of her newfound freedom, has become a heavy burden, one that she could no longer bear alone. The realities of bills and expenses were crashing down around her, and she found herself staring into the abyss of financial insecurity. In her desperation, she sought out part-time work, a necessary step that we had hoped would spark a sense of responsibility within her. This was not merely a job, it was a lifeline, a chance for her to build her life from the ground up. Yet the irony of her situation was palpable. She had once reveled in comforts provided by our support, and now she was forced to accept a life filled with frugality and hard work. We were cautiously hopeful that this experience would help her mature, but we also feared the emotional toll it could take on her. Reports began to filter back to us about her new living situation. She had managed to secure a low-paying job and found a modest apartment that was a far cry from the life of luxury she had once known. We understood that this sacrifice was essential for her survival, yet we couldn't help but feel a deep concern for her well-being. The environment she had chosen might be a catalyst for her growth, but it was also fraught with dangers that she had yet to fully comprehend. As I reflected on her predicament, a wave of mixed emotions washed over me. I felt disappointment, yes, but I also felt a profound sense of concern for her future. I wanted her to learn the lessons that life was so desperately trying to teach her. It was imperative for Angelica to grasp the reality that life is not simply a continuation of the privileges she had enjoyed during her upbringing. The world outside her door is harsh and unyielding, and she needed to understand that it does not owe her anything. This realization was crucial for her growth, and I hoped she would come to terms with it sooner rather than later. This journey should serve as a wake-up call for her. It was time for Angelica to shed her naivety and face the world with a sense of realism and maturity. The sooner she acknowledged her situation and took ownership of her actions, the better equipped she would be for the challenges that lay ahead. It was a daunting prospect, but one that was essential for her development as an individual. While I struggled with my feelings, I could not shake the sense that this experience was also an opportunity for Angelica to confront the truth about herself. I still cared for her deeply, despite the heartache and disappointment her actions had caused. The love I held for her as a parent remained steadfast, but I recognized the necessity of tough love at this juncture. It was time for her to realize the consequences of her choices and understand that as an adult she must take responsibility for her actions and decisions. I found myself reflecting on her upbringing, examining the choices we made as parents. Did we enable her selfish tendencies without meaning to? Were we too lenient, allowing her to believe that the world revolved around her and her desires? These questions haunted me, and I grappled with the idea that perhaps our parenting choices had inadvertently led her down this tumultuous path. I questioned whether we had shielded her from the realities of life, and if that shielding had now backfired spectacularly. Yet while these reflections were important, I ultimately realized that the responsibility for her choices lay squarely on her shoulders. Angelica had to confront the consequences of her actions, and in doing so she would hopefully learn valuable lessons about accountability, perseverance, and the strength of character. Life is filled with challenges, and the sooner she learns that overwhelming these challenges is crucial for her personal growth, the better prepared she will be for the future. As I thought about her trajectory, a flicker of hope emerged within me. I hoped she would find the inner strength to rise above her current circumstances. The struggles she faced now may seem overwhelming, but they can also be the catalyst for profound transformation. This experience should propel her towards a brighter future, one rooted in resilience and determination. Angelica needed to understand that every setback could serve as a setup for comeback. True strength lies not in avoiding difficulties, but in adapting and persevering through them. The world is not always kind, but it is often in the unkind moments that we discover our greatest potential. I wanted her to learn that nothing in life comes easy, and that personal growth often stems from confronting difficulties head-on. In conclusion, while her current situation is undoubtedly challenging, it holds the potential for deep personal growth and transformation. I wanted Angelica to emerge from this stronger, wiser, and more self-reliant than ever before. I hoped she would learn to confront her reality with an open heart and a willingness to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. This is not the end for her, rather it's a new beginning that could lead her toward a future filled with promise and possibility. As she navigated this new chapter in her life, I wanted her to find the courage to stand on her own 2 feet. Life is not about relying on others, it's about taking charge and making decisions that will lead to personal fulfillment. I trusted that, in time, she would come to appreciate the importance of self-reliance and the necessity of hard work. Ultimately, this experience should serve as a lesson in accountability and growth. It is crucial that she realizes the real world is filled with obstacles and that overcoming them will build her character. She must embrace the journey ahead, understanding that every experience, whether good or bad, will contribute to her development. The challenges she faced now may seem daunting, but I believed they would mold her into a person capable of not only overcoming adversity but thriving in its midst. I wanted her to embrace this opportunity for growth, allowing her experiences to guide her towards a stronger, more resilient future. There were moments when I felt overwhelmed by the weight of our situation, times when I wondered if I had done enough as a parent or if I had failed her in some fundamental way. I often revisited our family dynamics, reflecting on our communication patterns and the moments where we could have intervened or offered guidance more effectively. The times when she had asked for things and we had acquiesced too easily had perhaps given her the impression that she was entitled to whatever she desired. Moreover, I recognized that I had sheltered her from the harsh realities of life. I had shielded her from the disappointments that often accompany adulthood. I wanted her to be happy, and I had tried hard to provide her with every opportunity, but in doing so I might have inadvertently robbed her of the chance to develop resilience. As a parent, it is a delicate balance, nurturing while also preparing your child for the world outside. I had hoped that Angelica would eventually learn from her mistakes, but the path she was on was uncertain. Each day I found myself reflecting on what the future might hold for her. Would she rise to the occasion and learn from her experiences, or would she continue to struggle under the weight of her choices? These questions plagued me, and while I tried to remain hopeful, the uncertainty was difficult to bear. I wanted nothing more than for her to find her footing, to learn the lessons that life was so eager to teach her. As time went on, I began to see glimpses of change in her. While she was still grappling with the realities of adulthood, I noticed a flicker of determination in her eyes. It was as if she was finally beginning to understand the magnitude of her situation. Each small step she took towards independence was a sign that she was learning, albeit slowly. The conversations we had became more meaningful, laced with a sense of mutual respect and understanding that had been absent before. I knew that this journey would not be easy for her. There would be setbacks, moments of doubt, and times when she might feel overwhelmed by the weight of her responsibilities. However, I believed that each challenge she faced was an opportunity for growth, a chance for her to discover her own strength and resilience. I hoped she would learn to embrace the struggles, to see them as a stepping stone toward a brighter future. As I continued to reflect on our relationship, I recognized that this journey was not just about Angelica. It was also about me as a parent. I was learning to navigate the complexities of our dynamic, to find a balance between support and tough love. I was realizing that being a parent means allowing your child to face the consequences of their actions, even when it is painful to watch. It was a hard lesson for both of us, but one that was ultimately necessary for her development. In the end, I wanted Angelica to thrive, to find her own path and create a life that was uniquely hers. I hoped that she would take the lessons learned from this experience and carry them forward, using them as a foundation upon which to build her future. I wanted her to understand that life is a journey filled with twists and turns, and that the way she responds to adversity will shape her character in profound ways.
Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Kathy, are you really planning to come to our house tomorrow to greet us? It's quite late now, and isn't the lack of a greeting up until this point leaving a rather negative impression on us?
By our house, does this mean that you're Cameron's father?
Isn't it obvious from my name? Your fiancé's last name is McNellis, right? When I ask if you're coming to greet us at our home, it's only natural for you to understand who I am based on that context. Surely you should be able to deduce who I am from the situation.
Yes, you're right. I truly apologize for my oversight. I honestly didn't expect a message from Cameron's father, and I wanted to confirm that just in case.
Even so, it seems you might be lacking in judgment. Sure, it's difficult to be smarter than Cameron, but that doesn't mean your response should be this weak. By the way, do you even know my name? If you had a decent amount of common ground with Cameron, you should have recognized my name when you saw it. He must have mentioned me to you at some point, right?
Your name? Yes, I believe Cameron did mention it. It's Bernard, and you're a local politician, correct? I see now that my question was indeed foolish. I apologize sincerely for that.
I could give you some credit for being able to apologize sincerely, but here's the thing. Since Cameron is going to be a respectable politician in the future, it makes me a little worried if his future wife is this clumsy. Are you truly the one Cameron chose, or do you perhaps have some kind of leverage over him?
I would never do something like that. We're in a genuine relationship and we're engaged. I plan to show up tomorrow fully focused and ready to meet everyone.
All right then. At the very least, I hope you'll present yourself well enough not to feel embarrassed standing next to Cameron. You graduated from the same university, didn't you? This wasn't just a matter of connections, right?
I assure you there were no connections involved. I worked diligently to study for and pass the entrance exams. I sincerely apologize for my earlier misstep, but there's really no need for concern regarding my education and preparedness. I have put in a significant amount of effort in my studies and believe I am well equipped to enter society.
Well, that's reassuring to hear. However, I must admit that your first impression has been quite poor. I genuinely hope you can make a better impression tomorrow.
Yes, I will definitely be more focused, and I look forward to meeting you tomorrow.
How could you do something like this? This is just too much. Pouring ice-cold water on me out of nowhere?
What's wrong? Are you at the hospital now? You brought this on yourself. You need to know your place. Keeping the fact that you come from a single-parent family a secret from your son? That's outrageous! You're nothing but a scoundrel trying to get your hands on the fortune of a political family, and I just poured water on you to wake you up!
I don't understand what you're talking about. What is wrong with being from a single-parent family?
Let me break it down for you, all right? A man is only considered a real man if he can support at least one woman. So what's your excuse? You couldn't remarry? You haven't been chosen by any woman, and at your age you still can't attract anyone. Being raised by a worthless father like that just makes you a worthless woman too, doesn't it?
That is such a biased perspective. This is just too much.
This isn't bias. This is how the world works. There's a standard set for everything. A man who couldn't get married and a man who's known for not being able to remarry are considered failures. That's just how it is. Even if we talk about biology, a man is supposed to hunt and provide. And here you are still single. What a joke.
That's not true. My father raised me well. Please don't say bad things about him without knowing anything.
Honestly, you're not worth knowing about. And from what I hear, you're unemployed, right? Sure, it's true that a woman can just get married and stay at home, and it's true that as long as she can manage the household, that's all that matters. But to be unemployed before even getting married, that's just reckless. It's fine to dream about marrying Cameron, but that's just wishful thinking. Oh, it's so funny I can't stop laughing.
That's not the case at all. Right now, I'm just temporarily unemployed. I'm in the process of preparing to start a business. I've explained this already, haven't I?
How do you expect to succeed in business when you come from a single father who's a worthless parent? You're probably just attending some scam seminar, getting inspired, thinking you can do it too, wasting all your money on it. You should stop the pointless spending and find a part-time job to earn some money instead.
You really don't listen at all, do you? I have never met someone so awful in my life. My father is just as astonished.
Your father, too? Oh, did Daddy rush over to the hospital for you? Make sure to explain it well, okay? You're trying to marry a man who doesn't fit your status, and now you're crying because your father is sending you away.
You can say that now, but this is just temporary. My father says he won't forgive you, so you should think of your life as over.
Huh? If your parents are bottom tier, you're bottom tier too. Show me their faces. If you keep getting cocky, I'll crush you.
Nice to meet you. I'm the bottom-tier parent. You'll crush me? That's rich coming from you. Just wait and see what happens.
What? Are you perhaps some kind of gang member? Ooh, so scary. Try something funny and I'll report you to the police right away.
Who knows? You'll find out soon enough. Everything has been settled without a hitch. That guy and your fiancé both turned pale the moment they saw my face, just as I expected they would. I also recorded the entire scene on video, so I'll send you the footage later. Watching it will surely help you feel better about everything.
Dad, thank you so much. You really went to their house, didn't you? You even recorded a video? I can't believe you went that far for me, really.
Well, if I'm going to do something, it's important to have evidence. It's always better to have proof of what happens in situations like this. You never know when it might come in handy.
You're right, as always. You're really the best, Dad.
This whole situation was unfortunate, but I believe there's someone much better out there for you. After everything, I received a message from your fiancé that was filled with insults. Honestly, any man who can't stand by your side during such a crucial moment is bound to betray you eventually. I'm genuinely relieved that you didn't end up marrying that guy and that you managed to see through him.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel the same way, so I'm okay. I never imagined I would get yelled at and insulted by Cameron for keeping the fact that I come from a single-parent family a secret. It's almost funny. Both Cameron and his father spoke in a similar tone, and I could almost feel the connection of the bloodlines in that moment.
I see. That must have been really tough for you.
But please, don't misunderstand me. I wasn't hiding the fact that I come from a single-parent family. Cameron never really asked about it, and I didn't even realize it until we had this conversation today. To me, it's just been a part of my life. I've never thought it was something I needed to bring up. I mean, my mom passed away a long time ago, and I never thought it was something that needed to be brought up in conversation.
Yeah, I figured as much. I'm not bothered by it at all, but that's why I was surprised. I never imagined that the fact that I come from a single-parent family and that I've never remarried would cause such a stir. I didn't expect it to trouble you in any way. I'm really sorry for putting you through all that.
Wait, why are you apologizing? You haven't done anything wrong. I've never been made to feel special from being in a single-parent family, so this was a huge surprise for me. And it's the first time I've encountered someone who has such a biased view about a single father not being able to remarry. I never thought things would turn out this way. In fact, I feel terrible that I made you worry about it. I'm really sorry.
You have nothing to apologize for. You haven't done anything wrong. Being your father's daughter isn't something you chose. You didn't choose to grow up in a single-parent family.
Don't say it like that. I know how much you've cared for and raised me. I've been through so much as a girl growing up, and there were many things I didn't understand. But you always greeted me with a smile, even when I was struggling. I really do understand.
Kathy, you've really grown up to be such a kind child. Just hearing you say that makes me really happy.
Because it's the truth. That guy, that man who only talks a big game, probably never bothered to get involved in raising me. He thinks he's so great just because he brings in money. That's why he feels he can look down on single-parent families like ours from the sidelines. I'm not sad about the insults he threw at me. What I really couldn't stand was hearing him speak ill of you, the father who raised me with so much love.
Well, that's true. People who speak biased opinions so confidently are usually those who have never experienced anything themselves, who know nothing. It's pointless to worry about that kind of thing.
Exactly, so let's not worry about it. And I know that the reason you've never remarried is for my sake.
Huh?
I remember, when I was little, you once brought home a woman you were getting along with, thinking I needed a new mom. I got really upset that time. You asked me, how would you feel if you got a new mom? And I cried and shouted, Mom is in the sky! I don't need a new mom! You must have been really hurt by that.
Ah, so you remember that.
Of course. I remember being so angry that I didn't talk to you for 3 days. You apologized to me so much. I was just a kid then. I didn't want anyone else in our family, and it upset me. I still think of my mom as my mom, and that will never change. But that doesn't mean I'm against you marrying someone new now.
What are you saying?
I know that ever since the incident, you've been careful not to date anyone because you were thinking of me. You kept your promise that we would stay together, just the two of us as a family, and you've really stuck to it.
Kathy, but that wasn't because I wanted to do it for you. It's something I chose to do for myself.
Yeah, I knew you'd say that. Do you really think I've been living with you all these years without realizing that? It's easy to see those things.
Well, so you've seen through everything, huh?
But in return, you've been incredibly serious about your work, putting so much effort into raising me. I thought this marriage would be a way to show you my gratitude, and I wanted to tell you that I was getting married, but since that can't happen now, it feels like I'm not doing it well. But I truly want you to live your life as you wish. If you find a wonderful woman, I hope you can create a happy new family together. If that makes you smile, then I'd be happy.
Kathy, thank you. To hear that from my daughter makes me feel like the luckiest father in the world.
I'm just a happy only daughter. So I'm going to find a great person for myself too, and you should find someone good for you. Let's make both of us happy.
I understand. Thank you, Kathy. Let's think about how we can both be happy.
Yeah.
Kathy! I truly apologize for what happened earlier. Hearing about your single-parent family, I made unfounded assumptions and looked down on your family, belittling your father. I sincerely apologize for that. I never expected your father to be the one who recommended me to become a local politician. To think that he's a big-time politician like Jefferson.
How does it feel knowing that your father has a higher salary than I do, a man with a wife? If my father is not distinguished, then you must be worth less than garbage, right?
You are absolutely correct. This incident has made me realize that being part of a single-parent family is not a disadvantage at all. If you were raised with such love and care by a father as respectable as yours, I'm sure that you are an admirable person yourself.
It's quite embarrassing to see such a drastic change in perspective, isn't it? As a man, shouldn't you have a stronger sense of integrity?
While I would like to maintain my stance, I now fully understand that I was completely wrong in this matter.
How does it feel to bow down to someone you previously looked down upon as a bottom-tier woman with bottom-tier parents? What's it like to taste the humiliation of realizing that a father who never had a woman choose him holds a higher position than you, who is married?
It's more like my values have been shattered. I've learned a significant lesson from this experience. That's why I am genuinely apologizing to you. I never knew your father was such an outstanding person. If I had known, I wouldn't have acted so foolishly. Why did you keep such an important thing hidden from me?
I didn't hide it. I assumed you would understand if we talked, and for me, having my father in my life is a given. It seemed strange for me to brag about my father's standing as his daughter. As we continued talking, I thought it would come up naturally, and conversely, I didn't want to be treated kindly, knowing you were aware of my situation, so I let the conversation flow. As a result, you and your parents felt free to insult us without knowing anything.
I truly never expected things would turn out like this. I deeply apologize. I hope that we can all get along as family from now on.
As family? You think we can be friends as relatives? How foolish can you be? It's amusing that you think we could become friends in this situation. Didn't you just have your father announce that all support would be withdrawn?
That would be a significant problem for me. Without your father's support, our family.
It's nice to be so carefree, isn't it? Rather, my father intends to expose your actions to the public and plans to destroy you.
Wait a moment, that seems excessive. It's true that I insulted you, but I've reflected on my actions and promised not to do it again.
Did you forget that you dumped ice water on me? I have a bruise on my face because of it. Luckily, my eyes are fine, but what if I had gone blind?
You're right. I sincerely apologize for that. However, please, just this once, forgive me.
But there's no just this once. You decided to cut ties with me based solely on your assumptions that I came from a lowly background. With regard to you and your family as nothing more than pathetic bottom-tier people, we decided you would never work in this industry again. People like you shouldn't exist in this field. You and your family should fall into hell and feel shame. Bernard seemed to be a good person on the surface, and that perception was shared by many in our circles. He had a way of presenting himself that was charming and engaging, often drawing people in with his charisma. He was the type of person who would enter a room and immediately light it up with his smile, exuding an aura of warmth and friendliness. Conversations with him felt effortless. He was a great listener and always had encouraging words to offer. It was easy to see why my father had initially placed his trust in Bernard. However, the day my father decided to reveal the truth about Bernard was nothing short of monumental. The revelation sent shockwaves through our lives, creating a ripple effect that would change everything. My father had never been one to hide the truth or shy away from uncomfortable conversations. His commitment to honesty was one of the values that he had instilled in me from a young age, and it was a principle he lived by. But this particular truth was so damning that it left a profound impact on all of us. When the news broke, it felt like the ground beneath us had shifted. We had been living in a carefully constructed reality, and suddenly that reality had been shattered. People around us reacted with shock and disbelief. Their perceptions of Bernard and our family altered overnight. Those who had once seen him as a mentor or a friend were now grappling with feelings of betrayal. My father, too, faced the fallout of this revelation. He had unwittingly placed his faith in someone who had deceived not only him, but also many others. The fallout was swift and merciless. My father and I were not just thrust into a personal crisis. We found ourselves at the center of a scandal that reverberated through our community and beyond. The whispers began almost immediately. Friends who had once stood by our side started to distance themselves, unsure of how to navigate the situation. Invitations to social gatherings dwindled, and the phone calls that had once been a regular part of our lives became increasingly rare. The isolation was suffocating. As I watched the people around us react to the news, I couldn't help but feel a sense of bitterness towards those who had turned away. It was painful to realize how quickly relationships could dissolve in the face of scandal. Good riddance, I thought to myself, feeling a strange mixture of anger and satisfaction. Those who were quick to abandon us had never truly understood the depth of our character, and I found comfort in the idea that we were now free from their superficial company. Yet amidst this bitterness, I also felt a sense of strange relief. My father and I had always had a solid bond, but this crisis forced us to confront our relationship in a new light. We were no longer just parent and child, we were allies, navigating the murky waters of betrayal and deception together. This shared experience created an unspoken understanding between us, one that deepened our connection. Despite the chaos surrounding us, we made a conscious decision to focus on our relationship. My father and I recognized that we had the power to create our own narrative moving forward, and it was one that would prioritize happiness and resilience. We began to explore ways to rebuild our lives, starting with small steps that would ultimately lead us towards a brighter future. The first step was to openly discuss our feelings and fears about the situation. In the quiet of our home, we would sit together, sharing our thoughts and emotions without reservation. I appreciated my father's willingness to be vulnerable. It made it a lot easier for me to express my own worries. We talked about the importance of maintaining our integrity and how we could rise above the circumstances that had been thrust upon us. Even though the situation is difficult, my father said one evening, it can also be an opportunity for us to grow. We can redefine who we are and what we stand for. His words resonated with me, and I began to see the glimmer of hope amidst the darkness. We agreed that while the truth had initially torn us apart from others, it also provided us with a chance to forge new connections based on authenticity. As we continued our discussions, we set goals for ourselves. We wanted to focus on self-improvement and healing, recognizing that it would be a long journey. My father expressed his desire to pursue new opportunities in his career, ones that would align with his values rather than those that had led him into the web of deceit surrounding Bernard. It was an inspiring moment to witness my father's resolve to take control of his life again. Simultaneously, I began to contemplate my own aspirations. For years, I had been caught up in the expectations placed upon me by others, often sacrificing my own dreams in the process. The realization that I had the power to carve my own path was both exhilarating and terrifying. I decided to explore interests that had always intrigued me but had been overshadowed by external pressures. I delved into creative writing, a passion I had neglected for far too long. The process of putting pen to paper became cathartic, allowing me to express my thoughts and emotions freely. In parallel, we started looking for ways to engage with the community in a positive manner. My father and I volunteered at local organizations, lending a helping hand where we could. It was through this service that we began to meet individuals who had faced their own struggles, each with a story that echoed our own. Hearing their experiences helped alleviate some of the isolation we felt, reminding us that we were not alone in our challenges. One day, while volunteering at a food bank, I met a woman named Sarah who had endured significant hardships in her life. Her strength and resilience were evident in the way she spoke about her experiences. "Life can be so unpredictable," she said, her eyes sparkling with determination. "But it's how we respond to those challenges that defines us." Her words resonated deeply with me, reinforcing the notion that we could choose our reactions to adversity. Inspired by the connections we were making, we began to organize community events aimed at fostering support and understanding. We hosted workshops that encouraged individuals to share their stories, creating a safe space for vulnerability. These gatherings transformed into a source of healing, not just for us, but for others who had faced similar trials. It was rewarding to see people come together, united in their desire to support one another. As we began to find our footing again, my father and I decided to explore new avenues for our relationship beyond our discussions. We ventured into hobbies that allowed us to bond in different ways. One weekend, we took a pottery class together, discovering the joy of creating something tangible with our hands. The experience was both frustrating and rewarding. We laughed at our initial clumsiness and celebrated our small successes. Through pottery, we learned to communicate without words, understanding each other's movements and intentions as we shaped the clay. It was a reminder of the importance of teamwork and patience, both of which had become essential elements of our journey. Every time we sat at the wheel, we would exchange stories and thoughts, and the act of creating became a form of therapy for us. The combination of volunteering, exploring new hobbies, and attending workshops began to fill our lives with purpose. We set aside time each week to reflect on our progress and celebrate our achievements, no matter how small. These moments of gratitude became crucial for maintaining our mental well-being, reminding us of how far we had come despite the challenges we faced. Eventually, the idea of opening a cafe started to take shape in our minds. We envisioned a space where people could gather, share their stories, and connect over good food and coffee. The thought of creating something that brought joy to others was invigorating. We discussed the importance of building a community hub that embodied our values: authenticity, inclusivity, and kindness. As we brainstormed ideas, my father's excitement was palpable. He began researching local trends, gathering information about the cafe industry, and even experimenting with recipes at home. I joined him in these culinary adventures, and together we created a menu that showcased wholesome, locally sourced ingredients. The process became a labor of love, allowing us to channel our energy into something meaningful. One evening, while we cooked together, my father shared a story from his youth that had inspired him. "When I was your age, I worked at a small cafe in my hometown," he recalled, his eyes lighting up with nostalgia. "It was a community gathering spot, and I remember how people would come in, share their lives, and form connections over coffee. It was magical." His words resonated with me, and I could see the vision we were creating come to life through his memories. As the weeks passed, we meticulously planned every aspect of our cafe. We envisioned a cozy space adorned with local artwork and comfortable seating, a place where people would feel at home. We decided to incorporate a community board where patrons could share events and announcements, fostering connections within the neighborhood. Our goal was to create an atmosphere that encouraged conversation and collaboration where everyone felt like they belonged. With every decision, we felt a sense of purpose growing within us. The cafe was not just a business venture, it was an embodiment of our values and a reflection of our journey. We wanted it to be a safe space for those who had experienced their own struggles, a place where stories could be shared and support could be found. Once we secured the location, we dove headfirst into the renovation process. We spent countless hours painting walls, selecting furniture, and curating the ambience we wanted to create. It was hard work, but we approached it with enthusiasm and determination. The cafe began to take shape, transforming from a vacant space into a cozy haven that reflected our vision. Throughout the renovation, we faced our fair share of challenges. There were days when the work felt overwhelming and we questioned whether we could pull it off. But every time we encountered a setback, we leaned on each other for support. "We can get through this," my father would say, reminding me of our journey and the strength we had cultivated. It was during those moments that I truly understood the depth of our bond, how we could rely on one another, drawing strength from our shared experiences. Finally, the grand opening day arrived, and I felt a whirlwind of emotions: excitement, nervousness, and a hint of anxiety. As we prepared to welcome our first customers, I looked around the cafe and reflected on how far we had come. This space, once just an idea, now represented our resilience and determination. We stood behind the counter, hearts racing as people began to trickle in, drawn by the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and baked goods. Each smile from our customers felt like a victory. The warmth of their appreciation filled the room, and I couldn't help but think back to the darkest days when it felt like we might never recover. We had transformed our hardships into something beautiful, and the cafe became a testament to our journey. The laughter and conversations that filled the air reminded us of the power of connection. As the days turned into weeks, our cafe flourished. It quickly became a community gathering spot, a haven for those seeking connection and warmth. We hosted events that brought people together, from open mic nights to community discussions, creating a sense of belonging among our patrons. The joy of witnessing friendships blossom within the walls of our cafe was incredibly rewarding. I often stood behind the counter, watching the interactions unfold, and felt a deep sense of fulfillment. This was what we had worked so hard to achieve, a space that embodied our values and allowed people to come together to celebrate life's moments, both big and small. My father and I often exchanged glances, silently acknowledging the journey we had undertaken together. In this new chapter of our lives, we learned to embrace the unpredictability of life. We understood that challenges would continue to arise, but we were now equipped with the tools to face them head on. Our bond had become unbreakable, and together we had transformed our pain into purpose. We were determined to continue growing, both individually and as a team. The truth may have changed our lives in ways we never anticipated, but it also opened the door to new beginnings. It forced us to confront our past, reassess our values, and ultimately led us to create a future filled with hope and joy. My father and I were no longer just surviving, we were thriving, hand in hand, ready to embrace whatever life had in store for us next. And so, as we continued to build our cafe, we remained steadfast in our commitment to authenticity. We wanted our space to be a reflection of our values, a place where everyone felt welcome and accepted. Each day brought new challenges, and we faced them together, drawing strength from our shared experiences. In the end, we understood that our journey was not just about rebuilding our lives, it was about contributing positively to the world around us. We realized that our experiences could serve as a source of inspiration for others who might be facing their own struggles. Through our cafe, we hope to offer a sense of hope and connection to everyone who walked through our doors. As the weeks turned into months, the cafe became more than just a business. It became a community. We forged relationships with our patrons, many of whom became regulars, creating a sense of familiarity and friendship. Each interaction reinforced the idea that we were all in this together, navigating the complexities of life. One afternoon, a young couple walked into the cafe, looking somewhat hesitant. I approached them with a warm smile, ready to assist. "Welcome, how can I help you today?" I asked, eager to make them feel at home. They shared that they had just moved into the area and were exploring local spots. We chatted about their experiences, and I shared my own journey, highlighting the community aspect of our cafe. As they settled in, I noticed how their initial uncertainty melted away, replaced by laughter and conversation. It was moments like these that reminded me of the power of connection. By simply being open and sharing our stories, we could create a space where people felt seen and heard. Over time, the cafe evolved into a hub for creative expression. We began showcasing local artists and musicians, providing a platform for them to share their talents. The walls were adorned with vibrant paintings and photographs, each piece telling its own story. Live music nights drew in crowds, and the energy in the room was electric. Each performance became a celebration of community, where people would gather to appreciate art in its various forms. I remember one particular evening when a local singer-songwriter performed her original songs. As she poured her heart into her music, the audience was captivated. It felt like we were all connected through the melodies and lyrics, a beautiful reminder of the power of art to unite us. The cafe's success brought us unexpected opportunities. We received invitations to collaborate with local organizations, participating in charity events and community initiatives. Each event allowed us to give back and reinforce our commitment to supporting those in need. We organized fundraisers, donating a portion of our proceeds to various causes, knowing that we were making a difference, no matter how small. Through these collaborations, we met individuals who shared our passion for community engagement. We forged friendships with fellow entrepreneurs and activists, creating a network of like-minded individuals who were committed to effecting positive change. Together, we brainstormed ideas for future projects, eager to expand our impact. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.